Hi friends, this is Sai Madhav. Today we will deal with the chapter Audit of NBFC. We have already seen the chapters of insurance companies and banks. So this is the Audit of NBFC. First of all, what is NBFC? NBFC stands for Non-Banking Financial Company. It is also a company registered under Companies Act 2013. Now, if we see the overview how the NBFC works, NBFC is just like a middle person between banks and public. They also act like bank. NBFC generally take the money from banks and they give it to the public in the form of loans. Examples are Bajaj Finance Limited, Muthoot Finance, Manappuram Finance, IL&FS Limited, etc. Now, if there are banks, why to establish NBFC? See, there are very few number of banks in India. We know that. So, all the banks cannot cater to the needs of public. So, NBFC system, which is much nearer to the public, mainly to the agricultural sectors and MSME sector. That is the main purpose of NBFC. And also, to establish a bank, it is very difficult. We have to follow different regulations, rules, RBI acts, everything. But establishing NBFC is somewhat easier because we are establishing under Companies Act 2013, not as per RBI Act. That's why all the major companies like L&T, Tata, Reliance, every company has a NBFC. Now, in this chapter, we will deal in four areas: types of NBFC, which is very important; directions; classification of fraud; areas of audit. See here, banks are giving money to the NBFC. So banks also have a control over NBFCs. Okay, banks form some rules and regulations. NBFC need to follow them. Types of NBFC: asset financing company. This NBFC deals in financing of physical assets. Physically, they will deliver some assets and they will finance those. In this company, income from financing assets should be more than or equal to 60% of total income. This is the condition. Then only it will be called as asset financing company. Next one is investment company. It is dealing in acquisition of shares and securities of other companies. Okay. Now, core investment company. What is core investment company? This company holds greater than or equal to 90% of total assets in the form of investment in equity shares, preference shares, debt or loan in group companies. Okay, the important is one is 90% here. See, you should see the limits here. It is 60% of total income. Okay, here it is 90% of total assets. And second condition is investment in equity shares in group companies should be at least 60% of total assets. Okay, dilution or disinvestment in group companies should only be done through block sale. Okay, these are the conditions. You have to remember the numbers here. Okay. Now, next one is loan company. Loan company is nothing but a company which is providing finance in the form of loans and advances. Infrastructure finance company. In this company, minimum 75% of total assets should be infrastructure loans. We can call it as infra loans. And net owned funds should be minimum 300 crores. Credit rating, you know credit rating, right? Credit rating should be minimum A rated. CRAR, capital to risk asset ratio, should be 15%. So these are the conditions. You have to study them, guys. There is nothing to explain in those conditions. Next one is infrastructure debt fund, NBFC. In this, the flow of long-term debt into infrastructure projects. Long-term fund should be flowed into infrastructure projects. Bonds should be having a minimum 5 years maturity period. Okay, this is about infra debt company. Next one, microfinance institution, very important. It is a non-deposit taking. Microfinance institutions should not accept deposit. Okay. At least 85% of assets should be microfinance. Very important. At least 85% of assets should be microfinance assets. Loans to those who have annual income. See, microfinance institutions should only give loans to the persons who are having annual income. If it is rural area, it is 1 lakh per annum limit. If it is an urban area, the limit is 1,60,000 per annum. The term period should be at least 24 months. Less than 24 months, you cannot give. The term period should be at least 24 months, and the loan amount should be less than 1 lakh, less than or equal to 1 lakh. See, think logically. The name is microfinance institution. Microfinance, so it provides small amounts of money to the people, mainly to agricultural, MSME sectors. Okay, so the amount should be less than or equal to 1 lakh without collateral. See, all the small people, they don't have security, they can't provide security. So this NBFC, microfinance NBFC, should be providing loan without collateral security. That is the logic behind this. You should remember the limits of 1 lakh and 1,60,000 in rural and urban areas respectively. Now moving to the next NBFC, that is Mortgage Guarantee Company. In this, the net owned fund should be greater than or equal to 100 crores and greater than or equal to 90% of turnover is from mortgage guarantees, or greater than or equal to 90% of income is from mortgage guarantee. See here, 90% is common, one is for turnover, one is for income, so it is easy to remember. Next one is factoring. You know what is factoring, guys? We'll have some receivables. Okay, we factor it to someone else, so we will receive money for the maturity only. That is known as factoring business. NBFC, which is doing factoring here, non-deposit and net owned funds should be greater than or equal to 5 crores, greater than or equal to 75% of assets in the form of factors, and greater than or equal to 75% of total income from factors. So here it is 90% for mortgage guarantee. For factors, it is 75%. Just remember the numbers. So these are the 9 types. The last one is non-operating financial holding company. This is nothing but firms owned by bank holding companies, okay, which are controlled by banks. This is regarding the NBFC types. There are 10 types. Okay, this is very important question in the exam. The question can be like, name the different types of NBFC. It will be 6 or 8 marks, or they can give a specific question like write the microfinance institution. So you should write about that one. It will be around 3 to 4 marks, depends upon the question. Now, next is directions. This is also very important part. Directions are broadly divided to three types. First one is deposit directions. Second one is prudential norm directions. Third one is auditor support, that is RBI directions. RBI directions are also classified into 5 types. One is for all NBFCs. Second is for NBFCs accepting deposits. Third is for not accepting deposits. Fourth is specific advisors from bank. See, it is from bank because bank is also providing money to NBFC for doing business. So the money is from banks. So our bank will be giving advice to the NBFC. Last is exceptional report, which is also very important. We will deal with this. First one is NBFC public deposit directions. What are the directions? The auditor shall verify, check, or ensure the following points. 3 A's. First one is advertising, audited statement of accounts, annual returns, whether it is filed before 30th September or not. B stands for board's resolutions. C, credit rating. D, deposit register. I for investment and interest calculation. W for written application from depositors. These are all the things the auditor should check as per NBFC public deposit directions. Okay. Now moving to the next one. NBFC prudential norm directions. What is meant by prudential? The basic meaning of prudential is being careful in business. NBFC is giving loans, so it should be careful. So this is about the prudential norms to save the business of NBFC. What are those? The auditor shall verify, check, or ensure compliance with capital requirements. See, we have studied the limits of capitals, right? 75%, 90% amount, net owned funds 300 crores, etc. So the auditor shall check the capital requirements, whether it is complied or not. Next one is NBFC policy. Each NBFC will be having some policy, right? Whether it is being followed or not. Next is asset classification. Next one is income on NPS. NPS also generates some incomes. that should be accounted properly. It should be on cash basis but not accrual basis. Okay. Status of NPS. How the NPS are classified in NBFC? We will see here. There are three types of provisioning requirements: substandard, secure doubtful, and unsecured doubtful asset. If you remember, banks also have a similar type of provisioning. Here, the substandard, you should provide 10%. If doubtful, you should check the time period. If it is less than 1 year, 20%, 1 to 3, 30%, greater than 3 years, 50%. If it is unsecured doubtful asset, provide 100% as NPA. Right? This is about the provisioning requirements. Moving to the next part. NBFC auditors report as per Reserve Bank Directions 2016. First one is for all NBFCs. Second one is for NBFCs accepting deposits. Third one is for NBFC not accepting deposits. So these 3 points of the first one are applicable here and here also. They are common points. Okay. Whenever you're writing any answer, you write these common points for all NBFCs. Auditor should check. Auditor should include in the report. It should obtain certificate of registration from bank. Bank should obtain from RBI. NBFC should obtain from bank certificate of registration. If holds certificate of registration, whether it is entitled or not, the auditor should check. It meets net owned funds requirements. We have studied the minimum capital requirements, right? It should meet the requirements. The auditor should check that. This is for all NBFCs, common points. What are the points? Certificate of registration, if it is holding, whether it is entitled or not to hold. Third one is requirements of net owned funds, whether it is meeting or not. Next one, for NBFCs accepting deposits, all points in A, all points in this, plus also extra points here. What are those? Deposits plus borrowings within the limits. If excess, regularized as per directions. Deposits and borrowing should be within the limits of the company. If it is in excess, they should be regularized. If NBFC accepts deposits, credit rating, whether it is approved or not, you should check the credit rating. You should check the capital adequacy ratios. No violation of restrictions. No defaulted interest or principal to depositors. Comply with prudential norms. Comply with liquid asset requirements. Opening or closing of branches. All directions, whether they are complied or not. These are the various points the auditor should check for the NBFCs accepting deposits. Next one is for NBFCs not accepting deposits. Here the auditor should check all points in A, these 3 points, plus also accept deposit only after board's resolution. Only if board's resolution is there, you should accept deposits. Otherwise, you are not allowed to accept the deposits. In case of systematically important NBFCs, this is very important. There are some NBFCs which are systematically important. For those, CAR has been correctly arrayed or not. Capital adequacy ratios, whether correctly arrayed or not. Company has furnished to bank annual statement of capital fund, risk assessment and risk assessment ratios. The auditor shall check these. For systematically important NBFCs, these two are the points. So this can be a short question for 2 marks. You should write these both points. Now, whether NBFC not accepting deposits is correctly classified as microfinance institution. We have studied microfinance institution should be NBFC which are not accepting deposits. Here we should include that point. Whether prudential norms are complied or not. See, this prudential norms point is a common point. Wherever you see a question from NBFC, this point will be in the answer. Remember that point. Next one. Whether a company has obtained specific advice from the banks. You have studied, right? Banks will provide loan to NBFC. NBFC will pass it to customers. So the money of bank. So banks have the power to give advices, specific advices. If not required to hold certificate of registration, complying with conditions stipulated by bank or not. So when a registration certificate is being held, it should obviously follow the conditions. When it is not holding certificate, it should comply as per bank's directions and advices. The auditor should check that. Next one. Obligation of auditors to submit exceptional report. There is something called as exceptional report. The following points are unfavorable or qualified. Only if the following are unfavorable or qualified, it is similar to SA 705. The auditor is not satisfied. Then you should give the following points regarding provisions of RBI Act 1934, NBFC prudential norms. For NBFC accepting deposits, prudential norm directions are public deposit directions. If these following points are not satisfied, unfavorable, or qualified, the auditor shall include this exceptional report in the audit. Now, this is very important past question. Presentation. What is the difference between presentation of NBFCs and normal companies? In NBFC, balance sheet items are given in the order of liquidity. In companies, it is not allowed. You will be having a specified format. In NBFC, financial and non-financial assets are divided. In the companies, current and non-current assets are divided and showed separately. Right? In NBFC, other income or expenses, if greater than 1% of total income, they will be shown separately. Other income or expenses. In companies, 1% of revenue from operations or 10 lakhs. Right? This is for companies. Whichever is higher, this is shown separately. For NBFCs, revenue from operations and OCI should be shown on the face of P&L statement. Right? This is for difference between the presentation of NBFCs and companies. Very important past question. Just go through this. Only 4 points. Now, very important one. Classification of frauds by NBFCs. The auditor shall classify this: misappropriation and criminal breach of trust, manipulation of books, fraudulent encashments through forged instruments, conversion of property, unauthorized credit facilities, cash shortages and negligence, cheating and forgery, irregularity in foreign exchange transactions, any other frauds. These are the various classification of frauds by NBFC. The auditor should check these things. Very important question. Now, what are the areas of audit? Divide this into 4 parts. For investment company, loan company, leasing company, and hire purchase company. You step into the shoes of the auditor and you write the points generally. Okay. For investment company, investment NBFC, what will you check? Prudential norms. This is the common point for each NBFC. Next, Ind AS or AS 13 is being followed or not. Authorization of investments. Confirmation from depository. There are 2 depositories, CDSL and NDSL, right? The auditor shall get the confirmation from depository. Investment certificates. The auditor shall physically verify them. Limit for investments. We have studied some limits, right? 90%, 75%, etc. The limits is being followed or not. Interest income, how it is accounted, whether it is accounted as per standards or not. Contract notes. Investments in groups should be shown separately. Okay. Unquoted debenture shares, how are they valued? Securities lent under SEBI scheme should be disclosed separately. This is for investment company, right? General points. Okay. First is prudential norms, AS or Ind AS, depository confirmation, authorization, physically verify the notes, internal income, how is it operated, contract notes, investment in groups, unquoted shares and debentures. Very general points. No need to by heart this. Next is for loan company. Now, common point, as I said, is prudential norms. You are giving loan to someone, you perform SA 505 here. What we will do? You obtain confirmation from borrowers regarding the existence of loans. Appraisals. Appraisals is also common point. Appraisals is, the meaning is nothing but whenever you get a loan request from a customer, you do appraisal check. That means you verify the document, you check his credit score, you do all the background work, right? That is known as appraisal. To give a loan, you have to do appraisal work properly. Then you will assess the customer rating. Then you should decide whether to give or not. You should check the appraisal process, how it is being followed. Terms of sanction. What are the various terms of sanctioning them? Bills discounting facilities. Limits of loans. No loan against own shares. You cannot give loan against your own shares. You should check that. Intercorporate deposits, provisions and income, monitoring and follow-up. Once you are given your loan, regarding repayment, you should be checking the monitoring function, the follow-up function. Now, leasing company. Whenever you see the leasing, you should remember AS 19 or Ind AS 116. Write this point. Physical verification. When you given a lease, it will be of a physical asset, right? So you should physically verify the asset. Lease agreement. Insurance of the leased asset. Installation, whether it is installed properly or not. Appraisals, same. Checking the documents, etc. Prudential norms, common point. See, it is all common, regular points. Okay, no need to worry about this. When you get a question, just step into the shoes of the auditor and just visualize the environment. Whatever points you can imagine, you can write the points here. You can get more than these points. This is the minimum points you can write. Hire purchase company. Prudential norms, appraisal system, installation, insurance, ownership. If it is a vehicle, hire purchase, you can give us vehicles also. Then you should check the ownership of the vehicle. Registration certificate of the vehicle. There shouldn't be any charges on the asset. Interest income. Repossession. When you are giving some hire possession, they are not paying installments properly, so you can repossess the asset. Valuation reports and installation report. Physically verify the assets. Installation see regularly or not, and the methods of accounting. These are all the common points for hire purchase assets. So there are four types, right? Investment company, loan company, leasing company, hire purchase company. Regarding areas of audit, just visualize and write the answer, no problem. Now moving to the last part. This is also very important one. Linking of NBFCs to CARO 2016. If you remember, in CARO, there is clause 16 of paragraph 3, which is related to NBFC. What is given there? Auditor to report if company is required to be registered under section 45IA of RBI Act 1934. If it is required, the auditor should check and report. If so, if required, certificate of registration should be obtained or not. Understood? The auditor should report if company is required to be registered under section 45IA of RBI Act or not. If it is required, whether certificate of registration is obtained or not should be checked and reported by the auditor in clause 16 of paragraph Act as per CARO 2016. Right? When you go to the chapter again, first we will see the different types of NBFCs. Next one. So there are 10 types of NBFCs. Directions. Directions are divided into 3 types. Then auditor's report is classified into 5 types again. Deposit directions, prudential norms, classification of provision requirements, right? Auditor's report for all NBFCs, for NBFCs accepting deposits, for not accepting deposits. 3 types of points. Exception report should be as per these acts. Presentation differences between NBFCs and companies. What are the classification of frauds by NBFCs? Areas of audit. 4 areas we have discussed, very easy ones. The last one is linking of NBFC chapters to CARO chapter 2016. Right? By this, we have completed the audit of NBFC, non-banking financial companies. Thank you so much.